Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at another history tea time with Lindsay Holiday. Yes, I use her a lot just because with all the princess stuff, there's not a lot of films that are not Disney. And Disney's a whole, and the Disney princess films are a whole another kettle of fish. That I have covered Cinderella. I will probably cover the others. But again, they're a whole other different mythology. So Lindsay Holiday covers some historical royal things. In this case, we're going to be talking about her video on George III's daughters. So King George III of England, this is the guy who was around when the American Revolution happened. He was also periodically called the Mad King because he had some sort of mental disorder. He started going crazy. But him and his wife prior to this were very much in love because they had a lot of kids. And no, they did not have to have a lot of kids. And a lot of their kids survived. So this would have been just where the grandfather of Queen Victoria. So this is Queen Victoria's grandfather. So, and she was notice that Queen Victoria was it was through the male line. So we're going to be talking about King George III's 6 daughters, whom some married, some secretly married, and the parents were very, very protective of their daughters. So when they did marry, they were like in their 40s. So none of them had children. So they were very, very protective of their kids. So it's very interesting to listen to this history of these 6 young ladies who were hidden away. Yes, they were presented at court when they hit 16, but their parents refused countless marriage propositions because they didn't want to give up their daughters. They didn't want their daughters to be in loveless marriages. And yeah, so I think one of them was eventually granted to get married and move to Germany, but she was like in her 30s by this time. And so she doted on her stepchildren. But yeah, I think she was eventually married and died in Germany. I believe a couple of them married secretly. One of them may have had a child, actually. We do not have proof. Obviously these were not with noblemen. It implied in one of the sisters' diaries that one of them did get married, secretly, and to I believe an admiral who ended up, I think, dying in the Revolutionary War or something, or another. He died at sea. So, and she was permitted by her parents to go into mourning. I don't think they were married all that long. And then she died a widow. So, and I think one of them died when she was like 88, but she was kind of going crazy. She never married, and she kind of scared Victoria, and then she was a spy for one of her guardian, besides her mother, and one of the people besides her mother, Queen Victoria's mother, that tried to control her. So yeah, that was one of the. She was not particularly fond of this aunt, Queen Victoria. One of them, I believed, ended up dying of tuberculosis, and the other one nursed her until she died and never married. The other, obviously, you had the 3 older sisters and the 3 younger sisters. The 3 older sisters had a bit better of an education because their father was around more. He wasn't going nuts. By the time the youngest was born, Dad was little. Dad had already started going crazy, and Mom wasn't really having much to do with him anymore because he was having mental issues and trying to kill things and trying to kill people in his sleep. And yeah, so yeah, I know some of them were very close to their older brother Frederick, who did become the king. Of course, he had no children. His brother succeeded him, and then they had another brother who died, and that was Queen Victoria's father. So that's how she ended up the heir. But this is again, these are her aunts. So it is a very interesting history. The video isn't too long. It's about 22 minutes. So not too bad. Very good jumping off point if you're looking at British history. And again, one of the reasons I'm interested in some of these Lindsay Holiday videos is she looks at the people who aren't the kings and queens. Why she does cover those, but she's looking at these six daughters, or I did a bunch of videos on the queen and prince consorts prior, and how she covers these relationships, and how though the sisters really didn't affect anything because then they were never married off. In normal times, had the parents not been slightly protective, having 6 daughters would be a massive way to sign treaties and gain connections, which is obviously what Queen Victoria and her 9 kids did. And not that went very well. It just didn't. I think I'm covering another video on the succession. So, I think I may have already covered it. We will see. I think it's filmed already. This is what I mean. This is being filmed in the beginning of November the 5th, exactly. So you guys are seeing this later. So again, it's a very interesting video. I do highly recommend this channel for a lot of history stuff. But if you're homeschoolers, the King George III is also kind of an interesting side path into the American Revolution, just because you're looking at the king who was theoretically in charge at the time and his personal family dynamics. So you're looking at what was going on. And if you, of course, look at my consort videos, similar, you get a little bit into his marriage and his wife. But you understand a little more of the royal family and what was going on with the dynamics of this, eventually this mad king. Eventually he did have some mental disorders and went into various fits and came in and out of it before he just kind of went bonkers. He just went completely bonkers. He actually outlived his son, I believe. So his son was eventually ruling. No, he outlived his wife. She died a normal death. Not near him. And by the time he died, he had no idea who the heck she was. He was that crazy. But prior to that, they coveted their daughters. They overprotected their daughters. Why is this a running thing with that family? My brain just clicked to the fact that Queen Victoria's mother was extremely overprotective. Oddly enough, so was the late Queen Elizabeth's mother. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. She was also very overprotective of her children. So, none of this always turned out well. Though obviously Queen Elizabeth reigned and was beloved for a very, very long time, and still is. But again, great video, only about 22 minutes long, so it's a good introduction to looking at these daughters. If you're looking at the lives of noble women, in this case, royal ones that weren't married off, except for I think one, and the possible secret marriages, possibly secret baby, of one of them, who had a child with this guy, and some people said she might have had a child with one of her brothers, and it was adopted off to this guy, or whether she married him, who I believe was decently older. So it's an interesting video, and an interesting jumping off point into this, or just a side tangent when you're looking at the American Revolution, or the English society, particularly upper class society at this time period. So that is it for this review. If you like what you see, be sure to check out the rest of the channel. I am covering the Princess Diaries right now, which is what these bounce off of, as well as the Diaries of the Middle School Princess, which is a secondary series. I'm covering a couple of Tamora Pierce series, both the Lioness Rampant and the Immortals Quartet right now, followed by the Guardians of Ga'Hoole, along with a variety of different books. I have a stack of books for this coming summer next to me, from LGBTQ books, music books, and unicorns, and then I think I have the history of vaccines. That's the mass mix of library books I have sitting next to me, and I think I have some nature books. I have DVD on super hummingbirds, which is probably coming out this spring. Trying to find media to balance off whatever I'm covering varies. As you can see, I'm covering other people's YouTube channels to fit in with things. So, and be sure to check out the rest of the channel. Obviously, I've covered the rest of the Princess Diaries. I believe, here I can double check when this is coming out. Yeah, I should be still covering the Princess Diaries when I'm doing this one. Yeah, I think the Princess Diaries are still going on. Nonetheless, I look at my massive list for the rest of the year. By the time you guys, by the time I'm filming this, I have 2023 all planned out. I'm just filling in spots right now, and filming things. So, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. I have a lot of stuff. Check out what I got. Leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.